Hello, welcome to episode 22 of Digital ILIAD. We're making an FTL-like in Godot. We're back after taking a week off. And we have so much to do. Our big things here is we need to kind of rethink our tile map system to accommodate some different things. Which I considered doing a number of ways. I even went so far as trying out some 3D alternative. But I think for a number of reasons, we're not going to do that. So what we need to do is come up with kind of an alternative to the tile mapping system that can handle tiles appearing and disappearing as we pull forward and back the curtain that lets people see what they want within the window. We also need to be able to handle camera rotations, which we can't really easily do with the existing tile map system. I actually talked to a developer who had their game at the Godot booth, and they had an isometric 2D game with camera rotation. And I asked them how they did it, and they told me that they were rendering the game 4 different ways at all times, and they would just switch the one that you could see whenever you rotated the camera. So that's funny. I don't think we'll quite do that, but we'll see what ends up being the most performant way to do that. So yeah, we've got some thinking to do for that. We also have some goals that I think we're going to lay out for the remainder of the year. Actually, goals through until next GDC 2025. They're pretty steep goals. But I think it's good to have them, so we're not just kind of developing in a vacuum. I'll bring them up in a second once I finish writing them down. Just grabbing some things here for my obsidian, which I've started using. So here we go. So these are our goals. These are our goals for the rest of the year. I can't make this any bigger than it is. We want to make a game trailer. It's going to be really simple, like a glorified GIF, like Derek Liu recommends. He actually gave a really interesting talk this year on how to make the trailer before you make the game, which I thought was really good. And it's just a way of prototyping the presentation of your game as it should be, in such a way that you can kind of gauge whether it's watchable and how marketable it is just in terms of its presentation, which I think is a pretty good exercise. We're going to put up a Steam page as early as possible, which is Chris Sikowski's recommendation. He also gave a talk, not on this. This is old information, but he gave a good talk on the secrets of Steam, which is really nice. And then our third goal is a little vertical slice, which will be the baseline of an evolving demo, which Thomas Salah, I hope his name has an H in it. I should look at that. Thomas Salah, aka the Falconeer, recommended making an evolving demo as an alternative of doing any kind of early access thing. You just put up a demo as early as possible and you just keep building on it, updating it. Because every time you update it, everyone gets a little update notification in their Steam library. And it's a way of getting people and holding on to them. PC Invasion, hey. How am I doing? I am good. I just got back from a week of GDC last week, the Game Developer Conference. I am full of inspiration, ideas, and mild panic at all the stuff that we still have to do. How are you doing this morning? All right, so let's look at where we left off last week. This is kind of what we did last week, our last attempt at this kind of terraced level design layout. She's not terrible. There's like a bottom layer. There's like a bottom layer, cargo bay, and then above that there's some like systems areas, some rooms. Of that's another room, which I thought was like maybe a reactor room or something. And then on the top level, we were trying to add together like a bridge. I don't like this. I think it's hilarious in terms of it looks like a skull and crossbones, but I think in terms of level design, it's actually really terrible. Like whatever's going on here, which is like the best way that I could come up with making a lift up to the top level that satisfied our like level design requirements, which was like not hiding anything. There's also just no choices to make. Like all the rooms just lead to like this central, you can't really see it, but you can kind of imagine it, this lift shaft that runs up the middle between these 3 floors. So currently I'm not happy with this terraced look of like trying to show everything all the time. I think we're going to go back to like a much more dense level design. Which is going to be a little rough in terms of, you know, stuff is going to block other stuff, but I have ideas on how we're going to deal with that. So like, we can try to draw them out here. Draw overthinking. So let's grab a wall piece. Oh, what's this that you play? You mean the music? Song title looks like Kiri. We're playing Pretzel Rocks. We're using one of their stations. We're working on a game. We're trying to make something kind of like FTL, faster than light. I'm trying to diagram something out right now. What type of design is this? It's going to be pixel art, isometric. It's kind of like a roguelike. I don't know if you're familiar with F subset games, FTL, faster than light. It's riffing on that. You're basically going to be mostly looking at the interior of a spaceship, and you'll be piloting, you'll be running around, you'll be directing little characters, little crew members around to different stations, like kind of like you're running a little Star Trek ship. This is kind of It's kind of the aesthetic we're going for. This little 2D ship command game, Starship Command thing. But yeah, mostly you're going to be interacting by controlling your little crew members, sending them around the ship to different things, put out fires, figuratively and literally. But yeah, we're still really early here. Going back to this thing. See if we can diagram out what we're talking about as far as controlling the obfuscation. Probably going to be one of our less productive streams, in that we're mainly going to be thinking about stuff here and trying to diagram it out. Making a wireframe block here. Put this somewhere else here. What app am I using? We are. This is Sprite, which is what we use for our pixel art, but the game is being made in Godot. Godot is a really nice open source development engine. Really good. It's got really great native 2D support, but it also can do 3D. It's not what we're doing, but it has 3D support. We're doing isometric 2D. But yeah, it's really got a really good native 2D engine that handles per pixel coordinate system. Really cool. Much better for 2D than like Unreal or Unity or anything like that. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to make layers. So let's think about this. So layer 1, let's do a top to bottom layer and then a side to side layer maybe. Let's call this can I rename this? Oh, I could just tap into it. Yeah, there we go. Call it X1. We'll just copy this until we have a panel, like a, I don't know, 4x4 or something like that. Oh. I'm trying to illustrate what I have in mind in terms of visibility, how to deal with some of the visibility issues we were dealing with last time. And like every time. Which is that we can't really see far enough into the ship. If we're using like a very dense level design, just can't see far enough. The walls, because the walls here are 3 times as tall as they are wide. And that's really causing some serious problems. Is that 8? That's 8. So I'm making a little wireframe diagram here, what I have in mind. It's probably adequate. We'll duplicate this a few times. We're making like a volume. This might actually end up looking kind of hard, be kind of hard to see at a certain point. Kind of hard to see what I'm talking about. If I leave it as a wireframe, I need to fill it in. But the point is, like, I need to be able to peel off the outer layers. So I need to be able to say something like we take a layer off. So we peel back the layers. And maybe I should fill these in a little bit to make it easier to see what I'm talking about here. Let's grab this one. This might look better filled in here. Need to start with the bottom right. And I basically want to peel these layers of potential wall tiles back like a curtain, like section by section. And the concern that I have is that is really not going to be doable with a tile map. Like, it's technically doable with a tile map. So if all we were doing was peeling layers, like hiding, like peeling layers off like an onion and then adding them back one by one, we could do that with the tile map as long as we retained like a record of what was there. And then we could remove and add back tiles as we needed them. But the other side of this that I also want to support is camera rotation. And that's the real problem for me, I'm thinking, is to be able to do both this layer thing and camera rotation. I think is going to be just beyond what a tile map can reasonably handle. Which is a little rough, which means we're basically going to need our own representation here, because if we're doing camera rotations, unless we do the thing that this other developer I saw do, which is just render the game constantly 4 times, which we actually might end up still doing, but what it really means is that we now need a separate representation. We need like here's the representation of the object in like canonical space, like, which is like no camera rotation. And here's what they're doing, And then we need some number of rendering representations, between like 1 and 4, depending on how we want to do it. And I'm worried that's going to end up being very expensive. Okay, so here's like an array of blocks. Let me just... Oops. I want to copy this whole thing into here. What we're imagining, if this is like the whole thing. Oh, these are ordered wrong. How do I reorder layers? Is it like not possible? Did I like just really mess this up? That's fine. We can just move the layers in reverse order. Somehow these are all a little wrong. My wall panel is wrong. Yeah, this one is... that's weird. Fix that. Shouldn't be anything here. Are any of the other ones wrong? Of course, just that one. Oh, this is an old file. That's fine. So, like this. So we want to... we basically are going to want to be able to peel the layers back so that you can see further into the ship, depending on what you want. Just because I give up on trying to level design my way around this problem, I think we're just going to have to give players control over their camera and be able to peel back layers. We'll also need a version of this that's like vertical, so not just the x-axis one. We're going to need like a y-axis one. And it needs to be sequential, so yeah, it would always be like this. I'm thinking I'll handle this with one of the joysticks. So side to side will peel back whatever the close side is. So if you go like left on the joystick, it'll start peeling these areas off. We'll use the other joystick for like a cursor. I think that'll be okay. Yeah, I could continue to diagram this out. I don't feel like I need to. What we really need is a way to do this. So what should I do? Should I just make those blocks? We're going to need to know their layer, which I guess would be a good reason to use tilemap. Tilemap handles the vertical peeling back, like the hiding of the vertical layers. Just like hiding these vertical layers Well, that's a good point. Not everything fits on the tile map here. I guess that was a choice that I just didn't put the doors in the tile map. I easily could have. Having the tile map is definitely good for level design. So I'm hesitant to just get rid of the tile map. It's gonna be a pain. Yeah. So maybe let's think about doing this without the tile map, just doing it as doing it with nodes, which is kind of nightmarish. What we really need is a tool that lets us, we really need like our own, God, I don't want to do that. But I think we're gonna get there. We basically have our own tile mapping tool. I could probably look at how the tile map works. I could probably look at the source code, get a pretty good idea of how to make my own version of the tile map system, or at least the tile map. What do they call it? The I guess they just call it tile map, but just the editor. Because yeah, that's gonna be a pain. So we could. So at this junction, we can go in two different directions. We can try to just make this work with a tile map, and potentially have to redo a lot of this. The thing that makes me hesitate to use the tile map is this side by side peeling back of layers, because that's going to involve erasing the tiles and then adding them back. So that means we're going to have to keep track of them. And if we're keeping track of them in a separate system, we kind of could just draw them ourselves. Or we could just control their visibility. Or, you know, disable them. I actually don't know if nodes have a disable button. I know this just controls their visibility. I don't know if there's just a straight up... I know there's a process or don't process. I guess that's how we would handle it. If we wanted to like suspend... Let me read node here. Make the node paused. So what is... So pausable is good. Pretty much everything wants to be pausable. Disabled. So if we disable it, there might be a couple of... Like, I don't know how that affects things like... I don't know, because I guess all the physics things, like are we mousing over this and everything, that would be controlled by like a signal. So yeah, so mode disable is I guess how you kind of unenable things. I like that. I like that better. And I like having the visibility button right here. I like that better than Unity, where like this equivalent button would just disable the object entirely. Okay. So I guess what we're going to want to do is make some scenes. To handle this. I'll look at the tile map a little bit more. Yeah, because if we're erasing tiles to do our whole peeling back the layers thing here, then we can't really use the tile map for anything else. Like, we can't use it as the basis of our pathfinding, or we can't update it. We can't update the pathfinding. It would have to be static, which I don't love. We could group, because we're always going to be doing a whole plane, we could be using groups to make this simpler. So that's a good point. Like, I've named these like x1, x2, x3, x4, and these are like the x-plane. We could use groups to make it easy to just grab the whole group and disable them. Sorry, I'm a little tired here. Not used to waking up this early anymore. Let's try that. Let's just make a full, just for experiment's sake, let's just make this full block of tiles in the engine. And let's just practice peeling them away and adding them back. We use the arrow keys since I don't have a joystick hooked up. I could easily hook up a joystick. But let's try that. Let's try that as an experiment. I should probably make that as a scene, huh? Probably. Well, I guess first I need to make a new scene that's just a block. In Node 2D. A little concerned with just the sheer amount of nodes I'm introducing, but this is a 2D game. It probably won't matter very much. I also don't really know how tilemap gets rendered under the hood. I don't know if it's really rendering as separate sprites or if it's like being baked. It's probably being baked together to an extent. You know, I'm actually realizing that just because I've been thinking of these layers vertically, I've been thinking of like tile map layers as vertical. They don't have to be vertical. They could be side to side. Problem is I would need the tiles to belong to multiple layers, and I don't think I can do that. Like, I mean, I could lay down a tile once in each of the layers, but I can't be like, this tile belongs to multiple layers, because that, yeah, I would have to just lay the tile down in multiple layers, and that would not have the desired effect. So that doesn't work. Yeah, let's just try this. We're gonna call this like a it's like whole chunk or something like that. Add a sprite. Grab our big wall chunk here. Wall section single height. Oops. So we want 4 H frames, 4 V frames. Set this to be like 8. Oh. Look at this. Is this messed up? Oh yeah, this has the same issue here. Weird. Check the double height ones. Probably have the same problem. No, don't there. Okay, that's good. So we need to offset this. That's offset should be like this. No, like this. We don't currently need collisions, but we may someday. In which case we could probably get away with just using a rectangle. Probably don't want to actually draw a polygon. We'll call this whole chunk. It's not really the right use of the word chunk. Whole segment. I want to call it chunk, but I think chunk in this case would imply like a multiple of them, like an array of them. We'll call it a segment. Just call it whole. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Always rename things later. So the thing that I don't totally get, so let's say I put a scene here, or let's make a new scene. So this will be our like space here, and we'll put a whole chunk in here, our whole segment. God, I'm calling them whole chunks already. I don't know why that's a yellow. Where's that yellow? Okay, so I can just now, if I want to change the frame, I can just change the frame. Okay. So I can build my construct here if I want. Let's do that. Let's just build a simple thing. I guess I should call these tiles, not segments, huh? Yeah, whatever. I don't want to call them tiles because tile is a construct here already. What I do want to make though is another thing here. I want a floor chunk. I rename these probably. I just call it Node 2D, Spray 2D. Doing this by hand is definitely untenable. We're definitely going to need like a tool, which is fine. I think making it possible to edit ships in game will be quite good. Anyway, so that's probably something we should support. It's a deck segment. Probably be using underscores here. Alright, so let's make a bunch of these. Which can't be done on the root node. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, I just went to the scene. So why can't I make another one of these? Oh, I can. Oh wait, so what's happening here? I'm doing something weird. Oh, I'm making like a scene. I need a root node to the scene. That's what this is. Oh, we'll call this something. Call this a chunk. So now we'll lay out a bunch of floor tiles. So I can't get the children of an instantiated scene here. There's probably an option to expand or collapse it. Editable children? Is that what I want? Yeah, okay, cool. As if I want to like give this its own, or if I want to alter its variables, which I would pretty much just be altering its frame. So I guess these yellow, all this yellow stuff is whatever it's inheriting from its scene. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I should probably rename these. A ship interior chunk. And then we'll rename this to be hull segment. So let's start filling this out here. Oh, I need to turn Y sorting on for these. This isn't right. Why isn't this sorting correctly? Okay, now it's sorting correctly. That was weird. Not really sure what's happening. Oh, is it really dependent on draw order here? Oh my god, it is. Why? That's not right. It shouldn't matter what order they are in this tree. They should be getting Y sorted, right? Oh, their parent isn't Y sorted. There we go. Yep, okay. So now it doesn't matter. We're figuring it out. Just gonna make a small room here. Some walls on every side of it. This will be our test. Oh, hey, Unimoth. How is it going? How's it been the last couple of weeks? Just found out you can write TypeScript in an Excel file. Kind of excited about that. I don't know if that sounds fun, but that is exciting. I mean, it is basically like a full-blown development environment. Excel. I mean, it can run Doom. It's pretty funny. What we're doing right now is we're trying to tackle this I don't know if I'm super happy with the limitations that this terraced design is imposing on me. It's really limiting my ideas for level design because I can basically only use half of the volume if I design levels this way. Not exactly half, but pretty much half. It's really restrictive, so we're just doing a test where we're going to see if we can set something like this up where we're peeling layers away. And we're doing it more, we're not doing it the way we did before where it was like based on rooms and stuff. We're going to try to just like literally peel layers away and let people kind of look as far into the level as they want. We might put the floors on an offset compared to the walls as far as like how this looks. So there might still be some room-based logic, but I'm gonna try something like this. So let's give you a script. This ship is gonna be, or this script is like, I mean, let's just call it this for now. Doesn't really matter what it's called. We're gonna basically use the, you need to set up some inputs. Need to map some inputs here. I guess we could just use up, down, left, and right. Someone explained to me how to define an input map axis. Let's see if I can remember how. Oh, we'll just subtract one axis from the other axis. That's fine, I guess. There might be a shorthand for it, but I guess it's currently going to just be something like function input. Is that the right function? Built in. That input event. Oh no, I guess I can just do process and grab the input. I can say get access. How do I define that? Oh, I can do it like this. Oh, that's fun. So left is the negative action. Yeah, that sounds right. And right will be the positive action. What's the problem here? Oh, I don't know how to code in GDScript anymore. Okay, so we can grab our axis each time. We'll want a state. We'll want like a coordinates for now. We'll have a raw like accumulator, which will just take this stuff in. And then we'll have coordinates, which will be probably like a floored version of the accumulator. Okay, so the deal then is we need to be able to... We need a list of all of these, I guess. Thought we could maybe use groups as like a shorthand for these, which I think would be good. Like we could have a group for a certain vertical or horizontal level layer. There might be conflicts there. I'll have to see. We're just trying some stuff out. I'm trying to come up with a solution to this that doesn't depend on tile map, because I kind of want to go back to camera rotations. And I want to be able to support like a really dense level design setup. Over like this. Or even like this, which is also not very dense, but it's better. But I would really like to be able to just stack the levels. And I would really like to be able to turn the ship. And I think tile map is going to have a hard time with a lot of this stuff. And I think it would be cool to eventually have a tool for building ships that can run in the game. I think that's kind of actually eventually mandatory. Just for both my own sanity and also for like modding support, stuff like that. So we're willing to take our time here and come up with something silly here that might work. So what should we do? We should just grab all of these, huh? Just go through all those children and just put them in an array. Thing to do. So for segment in children, get children. Not clip children, get children. Just a little script to help you place tiles in the editor would make this easier. Yeah, that'll definitely, we're definitely going to start by making our little editor just a tool script. And as we build up more of the game around it, we'll get it to work within the game. But yeah, it's definitely going to start as just an editor tool script. I'm a little concerned at how much of the tile map editor functionality we're going to end up recreating. So I'm probably going to go read through all the source code for the tile map stuff at some point. But there's some aspects of the tile map that I think are woefully inadequate for supporting this. Mainly this like horizontal peel. Because doing that in the tile map would involve erasing and then adding back tiles. So I would already need to just keep my own record of what the tile map actually looks like, even when I'm hiding stuff. So we might still end up there with just using tile map and just manipulating it. But we're gonna try this because I also want to do camera rotation, and I think camera rotation with tile map is crazy. I was mentioning this earlier, but I actually saw a developer at GDC, and she had set up a tile map 2D game that had camera rotation, and she was just rendering the scene 4 times, once for each potential camera angle, and she was just switching between them as needed. And I was like, oh, is that what we're gonna end up doing? So why am I iterating? So I guess an option is I could do a dictionary. I could do this as an array or as a dictionary. If I do it as a dictionary, I don't have to search the whole array every time, which is probably the better way to do it. I need to say this, or will it just duct tape it? It's like required, or is it just convenient? Now I can probably just do segment.position. Yeah. I don't think it's required, but I'm just going to do it anyway because it's more clear what I'm doing if I just say that I'm getting it as a node 2D array. What about a 2D array? That's a good idea. It's probably better. I'm not constructing this correctly. I mean, I guess I don't have to have an actual 2D array. I can just have a packed array and index into it as if it was 2D. I just thought would be nice to try. I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah, that works. So in which case... just say segment array. Let's grab the position. This is going to return a vector 2, right? Kind of want a vector 2i. Doesn't really... Yeah, I don't know if the dictionary is a better idea or not. I think it's fine. I think for our simple purpose, doing it as a one-dimensional, like collapsed kind of array, I think is fine. I'm like not used to making heavy use of dictionaries, so I've been like trying to kind of lean on them to see you know what they can do, but segment position dot y times whatever the size of this thing is. I guess the dictionary is a little more robust because it doesn't need to know the size of the array. Whereas here we kind of need to know what the dimensions of the space are. So maybe that's worse. How would we get around that? I guess we don't exactly need to. That's just something we can know. Argument 1 should be float, but it's vector 2. Oh, okay. I guess we don't need a floor, we can just declare this. It should just truncate. One of these is 0. So wait, so you're... So this is presuming that like the whole thing is it. Yeah, the array would depend on me putting everything... I would need to divide it against that. Like I would need to make it 0. I would need to make it a whole number. Like it would need to be positive integers to index it really easily. I don't know. Let's just do it as a dictionary. We might end up doing this as a as an array at some point, but easier for me to just think it through as a dictionary right now. So I do need to make this a little bigger. So you're 0. It's got 1 above it and 2 below it. Yeah, I want to make this a little bigger. Yeah, coming up with tooling to handle this is going to be like a huge priority here for sure. Like, how do I even grab this one? What is this? Which segment is this? Oh, it's 0. Yeah, this is impossible to work with this way. Why can't I grab you? There you go. Oh my god. Yeah, this is horrible. Do the same thing for the floors. I just hide all of these at once. Yep, sick. Oops. Need to go back here. Lamp inclusive or exclusive? Not more than max, not less than min. Sounds like they're inclusive. Right, so now we gotta make stuff go away or come back into view. How do we want to do that? Since we're not changing the camera, oof. I just thought about the problem of the fact that this is isometric. So I would need to transform the coordinates into that space. I'm convincing myself more and more that it's probably going to be better to just make tile map work for us, which might be a little rough. But I'm becoming a bit more, I'm leaning more in that direction, that we want to try to make tile map work for us. Which I think we can make it work as far as the... doing the horizontal stuff of peeling layers away. And the vertical would be trivial. Because the vertical, we could just use the actual tile map layers to control. So the big thing is we would just need to basically we would basically need a secondary copy of the tile map. Or maybe not a tile map, something. We would need some kind of canonical representation of everything. It'd be good if it was one representation that could be rotated. So like if it was something that didn't care whether it was rotated, it was just like a proper representation of like, this is what's here. And then the tile map would get updated from that representation. But if you rotated the camera, the two choices would be to you could either redraw the whole tile map in one frame, which is a little rough. That might not actually be that rough. I'm not sure. We would probably need to test that. We could either redraw the whole tile map in one frame. We could do what this other developer did, which was to have 4 tile maps, which I don't want to do. Because not only would you need 4 tile maps, you'd also need 4 copies of every single character running around in their correct positions. It's gonna be really tough in terms of like syncing animations and stuff. I think it's worth doing for a number of reasons. I'm just not exactly sure how I want to tackle it. Bit of a conundrum there. Oh well, we have to try a couple things out. I'm less and less convinced that this is the correct way to do it. I have to just have nodes for everything. That seems like a nightmare. How would we do this part though? We'd basically say Yeah, because here, doing it this way, I need to convert all of the coordinates to their isometric position. If I use the tile map, I just get that. Tile map just handles it for me. That's not like a super hard thing to do. It's like one more thing. Yeah, I guess the biggest conundrum there is how we would handle both storing information for a tile map when it's been erased from the tile map that's rendering, and how do we deal with camera rotations. We planned this out more over the weekend, but I just didn't do anything this weekend. I was just so wiped out after GDC. So it's gonna take us a while to build our momentum back up, I think. That's okay. Super low expectations for today. It was really good, GDC was. It was really awesome. It was sunny. I met a lot of really cool developers. There were some really interesting talks that I think is going to set our direction for the future here. Some of the more interesting ones were like, I mean, there were a lot of good postmortems, there always are, but this one developer, Thomas Salah, he's good. He's actually about to come out with a game. His recommendation was like to make like a living demo, which I think was a really good idea, like a demo that you make early and you just keep updating it. And you do that maybe as an alternative to early access. I like that as an idea. I think that's going to be a goal for us. Oh, I like this. I just modulated the tile map layers. I think that communicates depth a lot better. Why can't I see the wall down here, though? Weird. What's going on with that? Is that just a quirk of positioning? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, I guess those share a line. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so MVP, minimum viable product, kind of. I mean, that's definitely where we'll start. But his idea was just you create an evolving demo so you don't, because a lot of people will be like, I'm going to make a demo for PAX, or I'm going to make a demo for GDC, or a specific reason, or I'm going to make a Kickstarter demo. And it's like, those are like snapshots in time. They're like milestone based demos. And like, they don't really, you don't keep them around usually. But his idea was to make a demo, make it early, put it on Steam, and then every time you update it, all the people who downloaded it gets like a notification. So it was like an alternative to like early access. So instead of putting your game out in early access, which kind of counts as your launch, you just kind of make this demo available. It's this living document about like the state of the game and everything, and I think that's really interesting. Probably be the approach we go to at one point. Another interesting talk was by like Derek Liu, who's like a marketing consultant kind of guy, and he had another good idea, which was you should, when you're prototyping your game, you should try to make something like a trailer really early on. You should make, even if it's just like a faked, you should try to make a trailer just so that you can get an idea of how marketable your game is in terms of appearance. And I think that's a really good idea. And then Chris Kazakowski was there too, and he always has his talks about Steam, about how to play Steam. And not a new piece of information, he's always been saying this for years, but about just getting a Steam page up as early as possible. So that kind of set my goals for this year, which is like game trailer, Steam page, vertical slice, like really like a really limited vertical slice. So like I think we're actually going to focus our development on the early part, about just having a small segment that's like, yeah, like an MVP, like just the most basic functionality. Didine SG, thank you for the follow. But yeah, this is a lot to do in a year, but this is our goal. I think instead of, because I was thinking about developing the game, I was thinking like, oh, we probably want to like focus on testing out, like testing deeply, like, you know, like having like a shitty prototype, but try to test out as far into the game as possible. Now this is making me think I want to go the other way, where we just do a really early vertical slice and try to develop that just so that we can make a glorified GIF, like a simple game trailer, get up a Steam page as early as possible, keep the game looking as good as possible early, which I think for Twitch is actually a really good secondary bonus. And that will get us a vertical slice, which will turn into our evolving demo. So I think these are the 3 pillars of development I'm going to follow this year. And those are kind of my 3 takeaways from GDC, but there were a lot of really cool developers there. I got to meet the developer of We Who Are About to Die. That was cool. I got to meet Jackie Codes. How incredible is that? Just for like a minute at the Godot booth, but that was like very much a we are not worthy moment. Didine SG, is this a solo project? Yes. This is like a little FTL-like we're making, like a little isometric 2D FTL-like. It is a solo project. I'm doing the art. I'm doing the game. We'll see about the sound. I'm not super confident about doing the sound, but still might end up doing it. But yeah, we're just trying to make a little game like Subset Games FTL Faster Than Light, but we're doing it in this kind of side-on isometric hybrid look. And we've tried to build up the levels a bunch of different ways. Like we tried doing this kind of very split layered look because we're concerned about things being invisible, things being hidden behind these walls. So we've been trying to do this very flat design, which didn't work out. We've tried to do kind of more of an asymmetric design, but we're being very conscious about hiding things. That's how we were trying to develop it. This was our latest piece, but I don't think this is the right way to go. Looks like Meeple Station. Meeple Station is dope. Not like a super conscious comparison for me. Like I'm not aiming for that, but I think you are kind of funneled in certain directions when you go for isometric. But yeah, I'm not happy with this kind of terraced level design. I feel like it's really limiting what I can do. So we've just been kind of thinking out alternatives, which for me is maybe designing the level way more densely, but then giving you a mechanism where you can peel the layers back. So you can peel the walls away and look further into the ship, which would give me a lot more flexibility. That's just kind of a visualizer. A lot more flexibility in level design. So we're thinking about how to do that. I am thinking more and more that we can make tile map work for us. I just need to think clearly through whatever this canonical representation thing is going to be. Like whatever the thing is going to be that the tile map draws from, that has the that is able to persistently hold onto the information about the tile as we delete stuff, as we erase like foreground tiles or background tile. Well, I guess it would only ever be foreground. Is it a roguelike like? Yeah, it's gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be pretty high lethality. Like as far as your ship, you'll probably lose crew people all the time. You'll probably lose your ship all the time. So yeah, it's definitely gonna have roguelike aspects. These little dudes. I think you're gonna have a lot of these, and I think the red shirts especially are going to die. I saw another interesting talk on Twitch integration, which seemed really interesting. I want to like work on that. I think that'd be really cool. Do like a Twitch integration where your followers' names will become the names of these little crew people. So I think that'll be funny. But that's like a stretch goal. Yeah, poor red shirts. They're always dying. For Twitch integration, maybe only the subs get the gold shirts. Maybe the red shirts are just the followers. I think that'd be pretty fun. Almost 9:30. All right. Probably gonna need to end this in the next 10-15 minutes here. But yeah, I'm feeling good. We took a break. We took a week off because I went to GDC. We came back with these goals, which I think are a huge lift. Definitely going to be virtually impossible to do all of this before the next GDC, but I think it's good to have the goals at least. I don't even know if this is the particular order I'd want to complete them in either. Probably this is the order. So we would prototype a game trailer, which would be just faking. Once we nail down more of the level design, we would just fake what a glorified set of GIFs would look like. They kind of show off mechanically or visually what the game is doing. Get the Steam page up as early as possible. That is emphasized by everyone, even if it just kind of doesn't look great. Just getting it early. It seems like it's only good to get it early and then get our vertical slice up. Just a little playable vertical slice. Which, I mean, there's only so much to this kind of a game in terms of interaction. It's like, it's FTL, so if I can manage to get one ship encounter, like just a single ship encounter, I don't need to have any of the outside stuff. I don't need to have any of the progression or the navigation, like the map navigation or like the scenario design. I think our vertical slice will just be one fight, like one ship fight. Do I have a stream schedule? Yeah, I am streaming Monday through Friday. Usually starting about 7:30 in the morning Pacific time and ending around now 9:30 in the morning Pacific time, because I do have a day job and I took a week off my day job as well as taking a week off of streaming, so there are going to be so many emails waiting for me when I start. So yeah, we get to squeeze in a couple of hours of game dev a day. On stream, at least. I try to do some off stream. Haven't really the last week, but yeah, that'd be awesome. If you want to follow the game's development, this is definitely the best place to do it. I am working on maybe setting up a mailing list and maybe doing some blogs, some development blogs once we have a little more like concrete progress to show. Yeah, Twitch is definitely the best place to follow development right now. I've got a game dev meetup tonight with a bunch of other Godot developers. I'm going to ask them what they think about how I want to use the tile map. And I'll try testing out some of that stuff. And we will figure this out. I like this kind of little layering shadow modulation that I just put in here. It's like super minor, but I think it helps a lot. I could probably even make it more exaggerated, but I would probably need to introduce lighting. Lighting is going to make this probably a lot more complicated. I also thought about doing this in 3D, but with like Sprite 3D, as well as I also thought about just switching over to 3D in general and doing like a short hike and a short hike, you know, like the low res, like the down resed 3D, but I don't know 3D art very well and I couldn't find good art that I wanted to use. So I think I prefer our 2D aesthetic. I think our 2D aesthetic is nice. I think it's reasonably unique. It's also something I can do myself, which if I went into 3D, I don't think that would have been possible. I think I would have been at the mercy of whatever art packs and assets I could find, and I did not want to live that life. Part of doing solo development like this is being like self-sustainable, right? Of like only putting stuff in the game, stuff that you can generally manage yourself and develop yourself. That was an important part of it to me, so I'm interested to see how this works out. I really hope we can get a good camera system going here where I can peel back the layers so we're not stuck just doing this kind of terraced level design. Alright, let's just scrap this. This was a misguided attempt here. I mean, I'm not going to delete it yet in case we go back to it, but I don't think it's the way. The real question is whether I make this canonical representation another tile map, like a source tile map. God, I'm going to need like 8 tile maps then. Or at least 2. I would need somewhere between 2 and 8 tile maps. Because I'm going to need the one that you're actually seeing. I'm going to need the one that is an accurate representation of the entire ship, which the first one would draw from. Yeah, but if it's a tile map, then I'm going to need one for each possible camera rotation, because there'll be like 4 camera angles, which this doesn't really capture the way this is, because this is a way I was trying to level design around the problem, which is why it looks kind of steeped, like sloped, like a terrace, just because we were really trying not to have any of the level design hide any other of it, but it's really not a realistic goal. So yeah, let me think about that. I think we can use a tile map for showing the level and for drawing the level. And then what I think I'm going to do is have some kind of custom representation on the back end that is able to take this tile map drawing and store it in a way that I can redraw it at any angle, so that I can like either make a second tile map from it, or yeah, because all of the information is here. It just needs to know how to draw it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is easier than I'm giving it credit for to do the camera rotation this way. Because yeah, the sprite will change, but it's not like if the floor tile or a wall tile is on a given tile space, it is pretty much going to look the same. It just needs to look correct for its rotation. Yeah. Okay. I think I have a direction. I know a direction to follow up here on. Won't be able to do it till tonight, but Sorry for kind of the slow meandering stream here, but we're getting back in the groove here after about almost 2 weeks off. 10 days, I guess. 9, 10 days. That's the real tragedy of GDC, is just you see all this stuff the whole week that inspires you to work on your game, but you just don't have the time to work on your game. And so now when I finally get back to it here this week, I'm just like, my brain is going in so many different directions. I feel a bit scrambled. But it's cool. We'll get back in the saddle. Is it 9:35? Yeah, I think I'm going to call it about here. I don't think we're going to make any more progress today. I'll take a look at this tonight, and I'll see what I can bring to show tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'll at least have a workflow figured out so that we can start working on levels again. Yeah, that'll be my goal off stream here, is to figure out a workflow that will allow us to build level representations that we can rotate and that we can peel away and place back. Probably gonna be working on this for a while, but I think this is gonna be our bread and butter here. Just our systems for peering into and making sense of your ship. That's like your core activity anyway. So one of your core activities. So I think this needs to be good. This needs to be a well thought out system, and it needs to work really well. I'm a little concerned about information overload, because I know whenever a game gives me the option to rotate the camera, I don't want to do it because it's confusing. Like if I'm playing an RTS or something, if I'm playing Against the Storm or StarCraft or whatever, I don't want to rotate the camera because it confuses my representation, my mental model of the map. I think this will be a bit of an issue here, but I think it's worth it because, for one thing, it lets us turn the ship. Like if the ship turns to the right, everything would turn 90 degrees, you know? And that lets you get a little more positioning information. Like it matters which way you're facing. I like that. And I think that's kind of interesting, forcing you to kind of reckon with that. Because yeah, maybe you want to rotate the camera so you can see what's behind you or something, but maybe the camera rotation just kind of, maybe the camera to rotation doesn't happen, but the ship itself rotates, which is like functionally the same thing, but in terms of, rendering. But yeah, I think that's interesting. I think there's interesting challenges here. And I really appreciate everyone who's, tuned in to watch me kind of just struggle through that today. And we'll be back tomorrow, do more of the same. I'm gonna need to do something about this green screen. The sun is coming out stronger every day. The day's getting longer. It's kind of nice. But yeah, I'm looking forward to, now that I'm back from GDC, I'm really looking forward to this spring and everything we're going to do with this game. And I really appreciate everyone coming along for the ride. So yeah, I hope to see you next time. Bye.